Welcome in, everyone. It is the Twiff Gang here, Turner Niley, and I'm joined today with David Krupski, a common friend that I've met on the internet in Reddit, and we are here to do a Best Ball Mania draft. David, pleasure to be with you today.
Pleasure to be here. Absolutely. Really excited for this. Thanks for inviting me in. It's been great getting to know you and the Twiff Gang, and I'm really excited to participate a little bit more and be a little bit more of a contributing member to the group and to the greater fantasy community.
Yeah, love it. That's kind of the goodness of the interwebs of things like where Reddit can sometimes be the house of trolls. It is a space where you meet like-minded individuals, and Dave's someone I pinged on one of the fantasy football sites, and we've hit it off, and looking forward to this becoming a burgeoning relationship here. He's a great best ball resource, and so that is why we are going to be taking on Underdog today and Best Ball Mania and see how we can win a few $1,000,000 maybe today.
I like it.
Yeah, and
so before we get started, do we want to maybe go over some updated news, some things that have kind of popped up today?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very fortunate. We're like getting into this first best ball draft after the Deebo Samuel news and Ricky Pearsall news. So give me your take on that, David.
Well, I mean, honestly, feel terrible for Pearsall. I love the Evan Silva, and ETR points about how he got his Rolex stolen and he got shot and he got it back. And
Yep.
The guy honestly has just had some really bad luck. And then obviously injured his PCL. And one thing that I'm not no Twitter doctor, I'm not even a medical doctor, but one thing that kind of the medical field has said that if you try to come back too early from a PCL injury, that can cause some later on issues. So obviously him coming back, ramping up, and him having some soreness in his knee is not great. So they're getting first opinion, second opinion. It's not looking great. I have yet to see anything. I saw a couple of people on Twitter, renowned Twitter doctors, are saying that they could definitely see some long, some season implication, maybe full season implication, but definitely they're talking multiple weeks.
Yeah.
So then kind of transitioning right to Deebo. I do know that everybody was immediately talking about Deshaun Stribling. Almost immediately, he was shooting up into the 12th round on Underdog. I got a bunch of slow puppies and BBMs that are going, and I actually started to chuckle a bit, and then I went to ETR and kind of thrown my my rankings into my DraftMate app that I use to kind of handle all my rankings and exposures, and I saw that he got shot up immediately up into the 13th, 14th round. And I still think that's too early. And now with that Deebo signing news coming in, 1 year up to $7 million, I can see that Stribling news kind of deflating him back down to where he should be towards the end of an Underdog draft, which is perfect because I'm not sure that Deebo has a lot left. I think the wear and tear of him running as a short, to middle of the field wide receiver, taking on some running back carries, that takes its toll on a guy. He's built, he's huge, but I don't think he's that big. And so I just think that we're going to see some maneuvering with the ADP of this wide receiver core. Still like the 49ers, still like Purdy, but I do think that maybe it's going to be Purdy and it's going to be Kittle, Purdy and Evans as kind of being the more reliable people. But I still think we have a few weeks to see what happens with Kittle's injury, how much the wear and tear on CMC is going to be. So I think a lot of question marks on this team, but I think there's a lot of opportunity where there are question marks.
Yeah. What if I told you I have 50% exposure on Deebo Samuel?
Already?
Yeah. So I've been drafting, like last year I did the same with like Keenan Allen. These bets that wait till pretty much August to sign just get so depressed in best ball ADP. I mean, all ADP, but obviously like Underdog and DraftKings and stuff like that, like they just seem to go by the wayside. And as I get to the end and I'm trying to fill my wide receiver room, I like to like drop, one of my last 3 wide receiver picks on someone like that. And so I'm obviously pretty jazzed if he actually does something, but I agree. Like he is injury prone. Like there's no doubt. And now he's back in the substation, where, where the curse of that San Francisco field. It's definitely interesting for Deebo. I think, it's at ADP now. I've got to look at, he's definitely going to get moved up. Like that's for sure. Strebling's going to probably get a little bit of movement, but I feel like Deebo's probably going to be the primary beneficiary. Pearsall, I feel like is done, like in terms of like draft capital this year. And then, Kittle, he's someone I'm not buying into quite yet. So like, I like Mike Evans seems like the last man standing, for lack of a better term. It's super interesting. Like pretty much everyone in that offense now has some injury history, so it's super interesting. Obviously, their coach is injured too. Tiger Woods did or something. I don't know what happened there.
Reaching for his phone, fell between his seat. Who knows what he was doing? Yeah.
So that whole thing is a mess. How about Malik Neighbors? I don't know if you've been seeing the pump up there. I've been a big avoid at his draft price so far. A little bit of regretful on that. I think I've got minimal shares of him, obviously just because it's high draft capital. But now there's some video of him, making some moves and he's not hobbled. They're saying he's avoiding the pup. He's ready for week 1. What's your take on this, David?
So knee injuries are tricky, right? And I think this goes to anybody that has been in craft. I think you can throw in there too, right? These guys are coming back at a quicker pace. I mean, obviously we're talking about top tier athletes who have access to top tier medical care and doctors. And I mean, there's what was the share for owners? $453 million they're getting before they sell one ticket. Like there's so much money there, right? With the revenue sharing for the Packers that was released. So there's clearly money. They have the medical care. They have access to the top tier of everything. So is it just that we've improved the science and the health care industry well enough that these guys can come back after 6-9 months? Boy, that timeline is really, really tight. That being said, if you saw him running at that, I think it was a celebrity softball game, and he was hobbling down to first base. So I was like, "Ooh, let me dock him a few more rounds." I basically took almost none of him in the beginning because a guy coming off that type of injury, I want to stay away. But now that he's dropped down into round 4, and I do a lot of super flex on FFPC, and you can get him in 5 and 6.
Oh wow!
I've started to dabble a little bit. I mean, the guy is a target earner. He just is a target earner. There's no way about it, right? There's no two ways about it. He's a target earner. So what do we do with a guy who can go out in the field and earn targets? You want that guy on your team, right? And so, in best ball, you don't want to take, a lot of zeros, but if he's going to, start week 1, if he's only getting, maybe running 50% of the routes, who cares? If by week 7, week 8, he's running 80, 90%, you're fine. Now in redraft, right, if you're doing high stakes, FFPC, NFFC, something like that, I do a good bit of the big gorillas. I don't do any mid events, but the big gorillas. What I see there is if he's playing and you're having to spend a 3rd round, pick on somebody like that, I'm worried about taking, he's basically sitting on your bench until he's ready. Because if you run him out there and you're only getting 7-8 points, that's not really going to do it. Because if you start out of the gate with a 3rd round pick who's not earning you anything, that can get you in the hole quickly, 1 and 2, 0 and 3, and coming back from that through experience, I will tell you, is hard, right? And so taking a guy in a redraft league like that can be more challenging. So this is where I haven't done any big gorillas yet, any high stakes your redraft yet. To me, it's still a little early. but I definitely see some opportunity in best ball for sure. I think if you see him dropping, I think he's definitely a guy to grab. Remember, it's all about value. If you have 0 of him to this point, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, because if you had to take him in the 2nd or 3rd round, that's probably too expensive. It's the same thing as if you're trying to take him, later on. I think you're just getting a better value.
Yeah, great points. Yeah, I love the point. Obviously, like in these type of tournaments, like if he's healthy now, you're right. Like I don't trust him early on in the season, but in that back half of the year, he could be a guy that rides you to a championship, and he's delivering like that, wide receiver 1 type value toward in the playoffs, right when you need it the most.
Absolutely.
Cool. Anyone else you want to talk about, David?
Well, you mentioned, I think, a couple people that just started on, pup. They're talking about Kraft, they're talking about Kittle, and I think, I would say for these guys, I'm right at about, the exposure blanket of 8%, which is your standard, right? So I would say that I will continue to take some guys there. I'm a little overweight on Kittle. I feel like he might miss week 1. He's probably not taking the flight to Australia, but I do like him. Kraft. I know Ben Gretsch talked a little bit about Kraft, how he's worried about Kraft. So I think these are guys. I understand if people are a little gun shy to taking them. I respect it. So I think those guys are just something to watch out in camp to see how quickly they come off pup. And then I think the other guys are kind of contract related. I saw Olave got paid today, so he was doing the old sit in, so to speak, and where he was not participating. And then I think the other 2 guys are Bijan and Gibbs. I expect them to get paid. I just don't have any concerns for them. I think these 2 teams know that what they have, and they're going to pay them. And then I think the 2 guys who are reporting, who are a little upset, at least one is publicly upset, would be Baker. He apparently spoke to the media today and said that he was offered a 2-year contract well below the $50 million window, which that's just a ton of cash.
Yeah.
But he's an elite athlete. If he's trying to find a team to pay him, good for him. So that's a motivator, maybe. I mean, he's in camp. I don't see him sitting out. And then Stroud also is a guy that they've had discussions. Apparently, those discussions have been positive. So those are just things to monitor, but I don't have any concerns over them. It seems right now there aren't any major contract dispute issues. I think Taylor also would like a new deal, but it has been quiet there to this point. So these are things to monitor. I will say, as we get closer to the middle of August, end of August, if we've got some guys that are still doing some sit-ins, so to speak, on camp and not participating, that's when I start to get a little concerned, because you start to get guys who aren't stretching, who aren't playing, who aren't practicing. Then we start to talk about guys that possibly could get docked. It become, do I take Jonathan Taylor or James Cook, right, at the end of round 1, in a regular best ball league or a redraft? Boy, I tell you, I like JT this year, but if he's not playing and practicing and he's been sitting out, that's kind of like the coin flip goes away, and then I think I just take Cook over Taylor. But right now, as of the evening on July 30th, I would say that we really something to monitor, but not something to worry about.
Yeah, I'm definitely big Cook over Taylor right now. Maybe that changes when I see, because I know there's been some positive Daniel Jones news too, like saying that he's going to be ready. He's been slinging it. It's, this is, fact versus truth, and getting some hopium, like from some of this stuff. We'll see. Like sometimes you have these guys that, they're good in their underwear, but when it comes down to, putting on real pads and playing in real games, they want to hold them back. So we'll see there. Kraft got some good news too. So I love that you brought him up. He was someone I had very low exposure on because he was still kind of pretty high. And so I started to scoop him up a little bit over this last couple days, because, if he is healthy, and he was on the breakout last year, so love him. And then, we've talked about Kittle. it'd probably be one of the most amazing stories if this dude plays more than 8 games, because he tore an Achilles in January and he's 34. Like, this is, that would be, and Achilles injuries are like the death blow, right? Like, we've solved ACLs. It's like Achilles is like the thing that ruins an athlete's career, or at least sets them back minimum 2 years. So we'll see. Yeah.
Right. I think with Kittle, allegedly it was a different type of Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And so
it's like
they
the
were
higher
able to,
one. Yeah. It's like the cleanest one ever.
I mean, I could just hear like Denny Carter, even though he's talking about ankle sprains, this high ankle sprain couldn't be any lower. Right. I mean, it's just, it's the term, it's the hopium that we're using to, to kind of justify whatever it is that we want to happen. But I will say that, I actually was going to avoid him completely. I did some of those never too early, draft Superflex, FFPC back in January, February. I took 0 of Kittle. I don't do that many of them. I do them just more for the heck of it. I took none of Kittle. I just, Achilles injury was a no for me for that type of draft.
Big time.
But yeah. I mean, we'll see. I have 2 other guys I want to bring up. One is Jonathan Brooks. He's been going up. He's been rising. I have very little of him on any type of Underdog, DraftKings, or FFPC.
Eating him up.
The rankings that I've been kind of using. I can't get them, and I'm just not reaching for them. But one of their linemen had blood clots, so he's out indefinitely. They just lost another offensive lineman to was a knee injury, I believe. And then they've really already started to suffer. And then I think they lost another guy as well, and on defense. So here's a team that's already struggling. Could they want to see more Brooks this year? I do this dynasty league, and I picked them up for we do a free agent auction at the end of every July, and I picked them up for like $9, and I figured, why not, right? I mean, why not take a stab? And if he's terrible, then I'll just cut him. But for best ball, maybe he does get more run. Is Chuba Hubbard really that guy that's going to stop him? I mean, Rico Dowdle basically took the job away from him last year.
Yep.
And that worries me because I am right around 8-9% on Chuba because he just keeps falling. I mean, he just keeps falling every time. For my ranks, I mean, I got him in, got him around 7. He falls to around 9. I'll take him around 9, of course, right? I mean, if I'm getting value there, right? It's not always about the player; it's about the value. So I think that's something to kind of monitor what happens, and that is honestly, it's kind of a vibes feeling. Like, do you feel that Brooks is really going to be the guy to help you? Chuba Hubbard's probably not going to win you a championship. I agree with that take that I've heard. Evan Silva talked about that in a video released. But at the same time, he's a solid RB2, RB3, depending on if you're going, hero RB and best ball or redraft, or you're going, heavy wide receiver to kind of zag where everybody is zigging and, to get away from the robust RB. So maybe he's a guy that you can grab as your, Brooks is your 3rd or 4th running back. Not a terrible choice.
Yep. No, I love Brooks. I've been gobbling him up. I've been bought into the hype. Another like vibes based thing for me is like a guy that gets injured 2 years in a row that's young. I'm like, they got to get it right the second time, like they've got to fix his knee right. So we just got our first kind of camp news this week about him sticking his foot in the ground and then, turning it upfield. And so the hype train, is up there. But it's definitely it's a divisive topic. I think, the analyst community is definitely high on Brooks. I think the when I'm on Reddit, there's a lot of Chuba believers still out there too. And so I think there's definitely right now a kind of a divisive community on this. But I to your point earlier, like I feel like, there's the upside juiciness of like Brooks, right, is like the thing that is kind of tantalizing to everyone, because there's perceived upside in what he could be, and he was drafted high in the 2nd round, probably would have been first rounder if he wasn't hurt that year, and so you kind of want to inject that into your lineup or into your roster with the hopes of that by the end of the year he's leading that and gives you upside in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And I think just the last one I just want to mention quickly is A.J. Brown. Allegedly early camp news, and this is early camp news, so we always have to keep this in mind, that he and May are having some issues connecting. I'm not so concerned about the connection. I'm concerned about a very large wide receiver who, that big frame, he's in some ways like a Mike Evans type frame, and these guys take a beating across the middle, and the life expectancy on these guys is normally not into their mid 30s. And so I have a little bit of him, when he was still on the Eagles, and
juicy value.
Yeah, absolutely. And the moment he got, everybody knew he was getting traded. It wasn't 100% sure he was getting traded to the Patriots, but obviously, it seemed pretty strong. But yeah, I mean, he skyrocketed, and now I basically have almost none of him. I mean, I just think he is just too expensive. Now, if this news starts to push him down a little bit, then absolutely, I like the value. But where he's going right now, I'm pretty much passing on him.
Yeah. I mean, I love that news, because it's like one of those things where I think everyone has a lot of hopes and dreams. Drake May, super sexy, coming off of that Super Bowl. Obviously lost,
absolutely.
So you had no one to throw to, so maybe this is, and we know what AJ Brown can do, and last year was kind of more anomaly, and he still finished with 1,000 yards, even though he had his worst season ever. And so like love it. Like I've been a lover of Devonta Smith now. Like that to me is like the especially to your earlier point, like here on your roster builds, like especially if you do like superhero RB, you pound, running back at the turn, you're 11, 12 pick here. And then you can flip around and get Devonta Smith with your third pick. Like, to me, I like that as a potential wide receiver one, high upside wide receiver two.
Right. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. You ready to get into a draft?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Find one here. All right. 20 seconds. All right.
You good? There we go.
I'm good. Let's see what we got. JT here on the clock.
JT, go for it.
All right.
Yep. Perfect. That's fine. It's a good start.
Yep. All right. So flipping back, we're going to be looking at hopefully Hampton. I'm a big Hampton guy, but Ken Walker, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry.
You want to go? You want to go double RB here, or do you think to kind of, one thing with Underdog is you're always looking at 3 starting wide receivers, so it's something to keep in mind. Doesn't mean you can't fill it later.
I just feel like strong running back has been pretty good combo. So we're gonna circle when this comes around. I mean, we'll be looking at AJ Brown or Drake London here as a potential wide receiver one if we want to grab him. Otherwise, I mean, now we're facing Amari and Hampton.
I'm fine with Hampton. It's a little bit earlier than I normally take him, but he's fine.
All right, Hampton it is.
Yeah.
We're in.
And then I think as it comes back to us, I mean, we're going to be looking most likely. I'm not sure Devonta Smith will fall to us, but we've got Flowers. Neighbors could fall to us actually. We could get Ibuka, McConkey, Higgins. And most likely we might even be able to get at least one of those, and if maybe one of them falls, we could even get a second one.
Yeah. If we get lucky, Olave would be nice. Kind of low.
So there's Brown going 2.9. It's better. At one point he was going at the 1-2 turn.
Yeah.
So obviously he's fallen a bit. The Pickens.
Rashi, nice. Wow.
Yeah, 212. Wow, with Mahomes, the positive news, people are grabbing him more. And who knows if this person is trying to diversify too. There's Neighbors 3-1.
Wow. We're seeing it. We're seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Pickens 210, the Pickens CD is interesting to see. As a Steeler fan, as my Jerome Bettis jersey shows, it's And the guy, when the guy wants to play, he'll play. When the guy doesn't want to play, he won't. He will not try. Right? We saw the George Pickens effect last year. Warren Sharp actually talked a lot about this. You can see him that he was just mailing it in with some of his routes that he was running. So, something to watch. Also, a lot, two big mouths to feed. Can both Pickens and CD pay off at their ADP? Buddy of mine who I do a lot of FFPC drafts, he and I are not aligned. I like CD a little bit more than he does, and he's not happy with them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm more of a CD guy too, but I mean Pickens, obviously you get the value. All right, so let's get some receivers on the board. I think
so. I see Flowers. I can see Flowers. He's the best wide receiver that I've got here.
Yep. We got Flowers. To me, it's either Flowers, Higgins, or Garrett Wilson.
I like Flowers because Higgins the number 2, and Garrett Wilson's on a team that actually has a lot of mouths to feed.
Do it. Oop! I missed my pick somehow. Oh, I got Dave Flowers.
You're good. All right, so there goes McConkey. So I know that we might have the opportunity if he comes back. Not a fan of Josh Allen here. I don't
in round 4, really.
I'm not sure if he's worth the pick. Like I see some of these other quarterbacks a little bit more valuable. I know that this, the kind of later round 2 quarterbacks are going earlier now, 2 or 3 rounds earlier. So that would make Allen kind of a little bit more of a value. But I think if you can get him at the end of round 4, I'm interested. There he goes anyway. It's a moot point.
Yep. To me, it's got to be Garrett Wilson.
I'm fine with Garrett. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely later.
I like talent-wise, he's the number 1 in his team. He was money till he got hurt. He's got Geno.
Yep.
For whatever that's worth.
I would. This is the one thing my buddy and I talk about a lot. He and I do the FFPC, high stakes stuff. Do you take the wide receiver 1 on a team, or do you take the wide receiver 2 on a really good team? Yeah. So do you take Higgins over someone like Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
I would say no, because, Chase is still Chase, and he is the number 1. The reason why I think like Igbuka is up where he is because he has the potential. Who else on that team is going to be the wide receiver 1?
Nope.
Godwin's on his way. He might be done, right? We're not sure. McConkey, he's wide receiver 1. Tedero McMillan, he's a wide receiver 1. And then you start getting into like the Devontae Adams versus Terry McLaurin. Devontae Adams is a wide receiver 2, clearly, and he definitely showed some regression last year.
Yep.
Age regression for sure. I would say McLaurin is definitely the better pick there.
Right? Yeah, McLaurin is getting a lot of steam right now too. And I was a little bit out on him coming into the season, but if Daniels is healthy and he's got no good, not now that Deebo signed somewhere else, like, and Ayuk has kind of nuked his own value of coming over there. I just feel like McLaurin is one of the steals. He went early in this draft, but he's definitely been one of the steals. It looks like when we're coming around again, I mean, Lamar Jackson may be there, but you got Watson, Tate, Adunze.
So I got Tate's Waddle gone here and Williams. Both
Waddle?
of those guys.
Okay. Yeah, Williams. Williams is still on the board. Yep.
Yeah, Jamison, Waddle. So Burton went. I'm okay with that. Evans just went, I see. So there's Williams who just went. So, I mean, if Waddle makes it to us, I see him as probably one of the stronger values.
I think Waddle might already be gone.
Can you switch to the other side?
Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, Waddle went 4-6. Okay, yeah. There he did.
Watson. Okay, so we're up 14 seconds now. We've got Lamar Jackson, Rome Odunze, Jordan Tyson.
I'm fine with Lamar. We have Flowers. I'm fine with it.
Let's stack it up. I love that.
Yep. Take it.
Planned it. Totally.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Who are we looking at wide receiver that's left?
So we got
Watson went. We have DJ Moore He's okay.
Yeah, we got Marv. Marv is left.
How you feeling about Marv?
I've been a little bit out, but some of the news, most like in the last couple of days, has been pretty good. I mean, I loved him as coming out of college, so I have a soft spot for him. He could be great. Although in the playoffs, I don't feel great because you're probably gonna have Carson Beck throwing the ball there.
Right.
Yeah, so wide receiver, we're looking Brian Thomas Jr., Jordan Tyson, Marvin Harrison, Lemon, Quentin Johnson. It's not looking.
Is Moore still available?
No, I think he's gone
Okay.
here. Yeah,
He went. Okay, because I can't see the other side. So okay. So I mean, I've got kind of the way I've looked at it is I've got Tyson, Metcalf, Parker Washington, Cornell Tate, Brian Thomas Jr. That's kind of like the way I look at it. What's left, but
all right, let's go Tyson. I love him.
Okay.
High draft capital. Do it. He's still on the board. 2. A lot of good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one thing to keep in mind would be is this a 2 quarterback build, right? Do we take Lamar and somebody else in the top 14 and then we're done? Or do we take Lamar and do nothing until maybe, and then we take like 22nd, 23rd, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So somewhere at the end of your Wards. I would really, Bryce Young, it does not interest me at all. But Ward or, I mean, I'm fine with Geno with Wilson, right? Because here's the thing: if Wilson goes off, it's going to be because Geno hit him with 2 or 3 touchdowns in a game, right?
Yep.
And that might be a game where Lamar put up a decent number of points, but Geno put us over the top for that week.
Yeah, so roster-wise right now, we've got Lamar Jackson at quarterback. We've got Taylor and Hampton as a running back. That's phenomenal. We've got Flowers, Wilson, and Tyson. So obviously we're a little thin where we want to be at wide receiver. Obviously no tight end yet. Might have a shot at Tucker Kraft if we want to coming around here. Or we're looking at like the Alec Pierce, Jordan Addison.
Sounds like the Pierce news of him coming off the pup. That was one guy that we didn't discuss earlier. It sounds like Pierce might be okay. I mean, it's like they knew about this issue. They still signed him to that massive contract, right? This is not something that was hidden from them. So I have a hard time. I've been going back and forth on this, I'll be honest. But after all the news now, I have a hard time believing that they would have signed him to that big of a contract and not had a better idea of what was going on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, right now we're going to be like, 7th round. If he's the wide receiver 1, I've been kind of getting a little more interested in Josh Downs as well.
Oh yes,
recently.
Yeah, I'm definitely overweight on Downs.
Yeah,
on every DK, UD, and FFPC. I'm definitely overweight on Downs on all 3 of them.
All right, we are 2 picks away here. Metcalf on the board, Hubbard on the board, Pierce on the board, Kraft on the board. There goes Pierce. So we're going to be out on Pierce. Wide receivers, we're looking at Metcalf, Sutton, Reed, Downs, Godwin, Addison. Any of those guys lighting you up, or are you feeling, do we take Tucker Kraft here?
So here's the thing. According to the rankings that I kind of follow, Metcalf is a huge value. So I'm fine with Metcalf. I mean, but he is, okay.
Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, wide receiver 1 for Pittsburgh. We'll see,
right.
Kind of a rough season last year. Maybe things will pick up. We got Mike McCarthy there now. So this offense could look a lot different, higher pace of play. Let's take that shot, especially with us being thin at wide receiver.
Absolutely.
There goes Tucker.
Let's look at running back here, running back and tight end to see what's available. So there goes Kraft.
Yeah.
So one of the can you give me a rundown of who's available running back wise?
Yeah, running back. We're looking at Chuba, Harvey, which no thanks. Corum, Monungai, Dobbins, who I've been leaning in on. Rashad White, who I've been leaning in on. Jordan Mason, Kenny Gates. So it's getting a little thin here in the running back ranks too. Chuba's there. if we think he's going to, after our discussion.
As we just talked about him, yeah, let's take the guy that we were just like, yeah, is he going to make it?
I've been a big Dobbins believer. I've been warming up to Rashad White too, that he's going to be the or the running back 1 on Washington. All right, we're on the clock.
I'm good. Dobbins, I mean Harvey, Monongai, those guys are all kind of right in line.
Grab Dobby here. It'll be good for
I don't think he's
going
to make it back to us, since we were talking about him earlier, but Jonathan Brooks, he'd be interesting if he made it back. I would be shocked if he made it back to us.
Yeah, let's see. Pretty gone.
Did he go before Chuba Hubbard? Wow. If that's
Derek,
no, he didn't.
Look at that 7-3.
Wow, he did go.
Holy shit. Wow. Someone is buying the hype.
I had to say, like, that 6-7 would be 2 people that I would not draft 6-7. And that's nothing against whoever that person's drafting. Yeah, I just those guys, I'd be out of those guys. I mean, at that price, I mean, what does Adam Leventhal call Harrison? Marvin Harrison, Mazda Marv.
Yeah, exactly.
Marv.
Yeah, Mitsubishi Marv. Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't quite been the Maserati ride, that's for sure. Godwin going. All right, tight end Fannin still on the board. I've been a big Fannin guy. I don't know if he's going to make it back.
I like Fannin. He's probably going to be the biggest target earner on that team. He'll probably have the most targets for the entire season, and without a doubt. One thing to keep in mind, we're all, what are we looking at? Round 9, and one thing I don't like about Underdog is they don't tell you what like Laporta was taking the 94th pick. Doesn't tell you which tight end he is. Is he tight end 7, tight end 8?
Oh yeah,
right. That's the one thing I wish that they would update. But after they got sold for what 1.1 billion, I don't think they're really in the mood for.
Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't talk about that. Those guys got paid. Holy shit. All right, I think I'm going Fannin here if he makes.
I'm fine. Yeah. I'm absolutely ready for Fannin. Go for it.
I think he's the last of the. I mean,
he already has Warren. I'd be shocked if he took it. So yeah,
there we go.
Take Fannin.
All right, we're gonna be coming back around here. A lot of quarterbacks now available too. You got Stafford, Goff, Murray. We've got Kenny Gainwell on the board still from a running back perspective. Aaron Jones. I've kind of been scooping him up a bit too.
I like Gainwell if he makes it back to us.
Okay, we got Gainwell. Receiver wise, you got Golden, Robinson, Dobbs. No one that's mouth watering at all here.
No.
Pearsall's available. I will see how long he lasts.
Yeah. Unless somebody gets autoed.
Auto draft will be the one.
That's like the auto killer right there. Once you start getting some of these injuries in camp, if somebody got autoed, if they took Pearsall in like round 8.
Oh, built clear. Murph. All right, so we are looking at Kenny Gainwell. Let's grab him.
Running up to the podium, Gainwell this late.
Yeah. You got to see him firsthand as a Steeler fan. Yeah. He had him he's been awesome wherever he's been. He just never gets enough touches, it seems like.
You're right. Well, I mean, so this is the thing we were talking about DK. We took DK, and I think this is a good segue here. Who's going to be the number 1 in Pittsburgh? It's still probably going to be DK. Who's going to earn the most targets? That's a different story, right? Because Pittman does kind of play more into what Aaron Rodgers is now in his career. And that's why, Gainwell would just earn the trust of Rodgers. So I think there's a lot of information that we still need to figure out, and a lot of it's going to be from Rodgers himself, right? I mean, Mike McCarthy can do what he wants and say what he wants, but ultimately it's, was Rodgers 43-year-old Rodgers out there, and he's going to make the decisions, and that's it. So that's why also DK or Pittman, I don't know if I see that as such a big conversation, because do we really think Jeremy Bernard is going to get out there? I mean, Rodgers historically does not trust rookies. And so, I mean, yes, Amari Rodgers was terrible. but even if you go far back to some of the other, rookies that Rodgers has played with, he doesn't trust them. They make a mistake. He yells at them, and he basically blackballs them from, from the huddle, and that's it, right? So, Caleb, was it Caleb Jackson? Is that his name? For it's just like he was blackballed, and you just get one guy after another. Caleb Johnson, excuse me.
Yeah.
Getting blackballed, from the Steelers backfield, and so, I mean, you just don't. You don't get to play or with Rodgers if you don't know what you're doing. So I just see this as could even be running Darnell Washington a little bit more, 2 tight end sets with, Pat Freiermuth, shout out Penn State for Adam Levitan. But, as my mom went to Penn State. So as a Penn State fan, I also
Nittany Lion.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, Pat Freiermuth was, was put on this earth to score touchdowns. So Bernard really going to catch anything? No.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at now?
All right, we could get Shuck just went. So I was going to say we could get the stack with Shuck. So we're looking at Higgins, Mark Andrews, Khalil Shakir, Jake Ferguson, Coker, Malik Willis. We want to double up on QB. Dallas Goedert.
I like Willis here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I think he's a solid value. My rankings got him at quarterback 20 and Shuck at 21.
Yeah. I mean, the rushing upside is definitely real, and that team's going to suck. He's got no one to throw to. So, I think he's going to be running for his life a lot of times and give you a nice solid floor, and maybe some weeks where he throws a couple touchdowns. He's giving you some real value.
Devon Etienne. I forget. I think it's Etienne. I'll have to check the pronunciation, please, on that one. He was talking about how good the Miami's going to be. I'm like, my man, like historian's voice. Your team's going to suck. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
All right.
So Andrews. We got Andrews. We're on like Andrews or Goddard or Travis Hunter.
Goddard, I think, would be better than Andrews.
Do it.
I know that it's not the hookup. I've got him interchangeably. We're not sure how much Lamar is going to throw. I promise you that Lamar is going to throw to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is going to have a phenomenal year this year, barring injuries, of course. Mark Andrews, they drafted 2 rookie tight ends. Now, does that mean they're going to see the field a lot this year? Maybe, maybe not, right? Usually rookie tight ends, come struggle out of the gate. But I'm not sure that I really see, Andrews putting – I don't think he's going to bury us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so wide receivers definitely thinning out. Running back, super thin. Let me throw out some names to you.
So we're at 4-4, right? We got 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks.
Yep, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 4 and 4. So we're pretty symmetrical right now.
So I would say I'm good with holding off on quarterback and just grabbing Geno late. He goes late anyway. He's what is he ranked as on mine QB 28, which is fine, or 29.
Yep.
He's down pretty low, but it's fine. I'm good with just focusing on running backs and wide receivers.
So we're going to be in a position here. We could grab Denzel Boston. We could grab Strebling. We could grab Deebo Samuel. And here, hold on.
So this is, so I would say, so
or
taking Stripling right now at 13 would be a bit of a stretch because remember, people are getting them so late that if we take him this early, we're actually getting killed on value.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the one thing.
Running back, we're like Pacheco, Charbonnet. We could grab Charbonnet and hope for the late season push.
It's interesting. That was actually another interesting news piece that dropped that he might be ready for week 1 and he avoided pup. So as a running back 5, it doesn't seem like we're going to get zeros for 8 weeks. Maybe they slowly ramp him up, but I would say he's definitely looking a lot more viable.
All right, grab
than
him.
he was earlier.
Here. All right. Oh, and there goes Deebo.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, swinging back around pretty soon here. We'll be looking at Denzel Boston again. Isaiah Pacheco, Kenyon Sadiq, it seems like too much tight end. Running back, it's like Tank Bigsby, Alvin Kamara. If we believe he's going to get work.
I mean, I'm taking more Kamara in full PPR since this is half PPR. I have him docked a little bit. I would say Boston's fine. I mean, he's been flashing a little bit in camp.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing
fine.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Trey Tucker. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine with Boston.
All right, I'll get Boston queued up here, and he's team.
I think with kind of Naylor and Tucker, I think no one knows for certain, right, which one of those two are going to come out.
Yep.
I mean, Trey Tucker flashed a couple weeks last year, right?
Yep.
I think he flashed a week when I had him on my bench.
Perfect. And then never did anything again.
Yeah, and then never did anything again. And it was like on this deep dynasty league where I was like, well, I'm not starting him this week. And of course, he flashed. Jalen Naylor has shown some flashes when he was in Minnesota. I just think it's wide open, but it really doesn't matter because all the targets go to Bowers anyway. So which one of these two is going to draw up targets away from him and Genty? But I will say, Genty and Bowers, it's interesting for that team's still going to be bad, and yet those guys are going in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That is also, man, that is problematic, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, okay, you've got a really bad team and you've got a target hog in Bowers, but you've also got their former first round, running back selection from last year, who's also going really early. And that is, so that's why these guys are pushed so far down.
Yep. So let me throw some names out to you and get our thoughts here. What could be available? Malik Washington. Do we want to stack him with Malik? Do we want to Malik it? Do we want?
I mean, if we want to draft him later, I mean, I've got Malik pretty far down, so I would say he could be around 18 if we want to stack him at the end.
Okay, yeah, I think he'll be gone before then. But let's. We've got Adonai Mitchell. We want to double up on the Jets. Antonio Williams, Malik Washington, Calvin Ridley. At running back, Brian Robinson, Ray Davis. We're taking the handcuffs at this point. Mike Washington.
I mean, I'd say Robinson's fine, and and so who's the other name besides Washington?
Brian Robinson, Sean Tucker, Ray Davis.
Davis is fine too. They're both, I think.
Mike Washington.
If Cook goes down, it's Davis, right?
Yeah.
I'd say either Davis or Robinson are good. My rankings have Robinson up a little bit higher, but I've been taking them interchangeably.
Yeah, let's take Robinson, and maybe he gets mixed in like Algier did last year. I know it's a whole different.
Yep. All
right, so coming back around, we're kind of right in the Geno Smith ADP. If we want to grab him, we could probably wait. I think Malik.
I would say we probably want him because if you think Lamar and then Malik is. I mean, honestly, I know there's nobody behind Malik. But no, not Malik Washington. Malik Willis. Yeah. But there's nobody behind Malik, but still, is he a possibility of getting benched? Is he really bad? Having a third QB, I think, is smarter.
All right. Who grabbing Geno here?
I think so. If he's right around with ADP, why not? I see Katron Allen went. I think that's one of those backfields that I've been targeting a little bit because it's ambiguous, right? I know Bill is there.
Yep.
C-Rod's gone. I know we have Rashad White. Rashad White is a coach's guy. Coaches love him.
Yep.
But Katron Allen, could come in and steal some carries. Like it's definitely one of those places where you're getting a possible, starting in quotation marks, running back, maybe gets 12, 15 touches a game and you're getting him in the 16th round. Boy, that is a heck of a value.
Yep. There goes Ray Davis. All right. So we're pretty stacked. I think we're done at quarterback. We got Jackson Willis, Geno Smith.
Yeah.
We are looking at Bannon and Goddard as our tight ends. I think running back, we're probably set too. We got Taylor, Hampton, Dobbins, Gainwell, Charbonnet, and Brian Robinson. Wide receiver, we may want to double tap this now at the end. We got Flowers, Wilson, Tyson, Metcalf, and Boston.
Yeah. I was wondering for tight end, just for if you're talking about stacking, but also somebody that might catch passes is Dulcich. I noticed on Underdog he goes much later.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see him 15 too. So I've seen him. As I mentioned that, I just see him.
Yeah, Dulcich to Lecce. Yeah.
Dulcich to Lecce. Yeah. I noticed he goes later. I mean, here I don't. Like I said, I don't know what number he is, but I've seen him go even later on Underdog.
Yeah. All right.
And on DraftKings, but not on FFPC.
He's definitely getting some steam. I mean, I think people see him as the wide receiver. Right. That he is the option. And so we may have a chance. Again, I talked about this earlier. I got a soft spot. Keenan Allen is going to be here. He's going to sign. He's going to get targets.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing is we're waiting for Diggs to sign. Is he going to Washington? That's what his team is. And Allen, is he going to the Colts?
Yep. Or he could go back to San Diego too.
Man, I don't want that, but yeah, I know. I mean, honestly, it's like we're all just waiting to see who's. Well, this is the thing that I think the ship chasers, and I think ETR both kind of said this. Like especially ETR, they never saw Allen taking that many targets away from Ladd, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah,
he killed Ladd's value last year, 100%. Yeah.
I was out on Ladd at his ADP last year. I was very steamed up, and I'm like, Keenan Allen's good. And he's got played for this team before. Like he's got rapport with Herbert. Like,
yeah. So I'm fine with double tapping, wide receiver, just going with two tight ends, unless you want to go with a couple options. Darnell Washington. I know that the ship chasers, Pat Green especially loves Kohler. Charlie Kohler. So,
Charlie Kohler is there. Tungus, Darnell Washington, Njoku, Evan Ingram. Are we on the clock here? No.
So we went with Helm. We got autoed.
Oh,
which is fine. It's okay.
All right.
Well, so let's just pick up it's fine. I didn't realize Helm was there. He's fine.
Yeah.
So then let's just pick up a wide receiver.
I'm going to throw Keenan Allen in there. I think he's the most.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're
obviously, if he doesn't sign, we're taking zeros, and that'll probably kill this team, to be honest, even at the 18th. But I'd say if he's a heck of a value if he signs, right? No risk, no reward.
Yep.
So what's our final tally here
for
the team?
Final lineup here. Very strong at quarterback here. We got Lamar Jackson, Malik Willis, Geno Smith. Running back is obviously our source of strength here with Taylor Hampton, Dobbins, Gainwell, Charbonnet, and Brian Robinson. Wide receiver, we are at Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Tyson, our upside, Metcalf, Boston, and Keenan Allen, the ageless one. And then tight end, Harold Fannin, Dallas Goedert, and Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, definitely a little weaker wide receiver, but we're just going to need those top four guys. I mean, if Tyson comes out and does well, and and DK hits those couple spike weeks, his team will be fine. And then if somehow Keenan Allen can fill in a little bit later on, that'll be good for us.
Yep. Yeah. It's that like we were talking earlier, the 9 spot's a little rough. Maybe we alternate with a wide receiver there at the turn, but I do like Taylor Hampton feels deadly, again, assuming health. And yep, I think, again, I'm a Jets fan, so I'm going to be biased here. But Wilson, I think, has the upside to be a wide receiver one this year. Tyson, we'll see. We'll see if is Shuck real or not. And if he is,
Yeah.
I think Tyson's going to be legit. So,
Right.
But this is hopefully we'll get that late season. Between him and Boston, get some of that late season rookie push there in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's just the beginning of camp, right? We got so much news still to drop, so many unfortunate injuries that are going to happen. So this is, definitely just the beginning of the exciting part of football getting back into our lives.
Yeah.
Every moment of every day, as I stare at my phone, my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, looking at updates.
Well, David, appreciate you doing this. Plan to do some more of these with you and being part of this TWIF thing together. And
Absolutely.
Appreciate the conversation. Always appreciate talking ball with you, and glad we were able to connect and do this. And looking forward to a great 2026 season. Absolutely.
Appreciate the invite. Appreciate the connection. Honestly, appreciate you finding me on Reddit, and it's funny how those things work, but yeah, definitely excited for doing this more and collaborating more with TWIF as we go forward.
All right. Well, take care, David. Everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on another episode of TWIF. Thanks, everyone.